Welcome back, my friend, and thank you for joining me today. If you're over 60 or approaching that milestone, this video could be the most important one you watch this year. We're diving deep into something that affects nearly every aspect of your daily life, yet most people never connect the dots. I'm talking about your hormones, those powerful chemical messengers that literally control how you feel, how you sleep, how much energy you have, and even how your body stores fat. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Hormones are just a natural part of aging, right? Well, that's only part of the story. Yes, hormones do change as we age, but what's happening in your body after 60 isn't just natural aging, it's often a perfect storm of hormonal disruption that can be addressed, improved, and in many cases, reversed. Think about this for a moment. Have you noticed that you're gaining weight, especially around your midsection, even though you're eating the same foods you always have? Are you waking up tired, no matter how many hours you sleep? Do you find yourself forgetting things more often, or feeling like your brain is wrapped in fog? Maybe you've lost interest in activities you used to enjoy, or you're dealing with mood swings that seem to come out of nowhere. Here's what most doctors won't tell you. These aren't just signs of getting older. These are red flags that your hormonal system is out of balance. And the beautiful thing is, your body has an incredible ability to heal and rebalance itself when you give it the right tools. Throughout this video, we're going to explore exactly why your hormones start to malfunction after 60, what specific symptoms you should never ignore, and most importantly, I'm going to share with you for specific, scientifically backed foods that can help restore your hormonal balance naturally. These aren't expensive supplements or complicated protocols. They're simple, delicious foods that you can find at any grocery store. But before we dive into those solutions, I want you to understand something crucial. The hormone changes you're experiencing aren't inevitable, and they're not irreversible. Your body is designed to function optimally at every age, but our modern lifestyle, filled with processed foods, chronic stress, and environmental toxins, has thrown our natural systems out of whack. The good news: small, strategic changes in what you eat can have profound effects on how you feel. We're talking about improvements in energy levels within days, better sleep within weeks, and noticeable changes in weight and mood within months. This isn't wishful thinking. This is based on solid nutritional science and decades of research. So, if you're ready to take control of your health, to feel vibrant and energetic again, to sleep deeply and wake up refreshed, then make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. We dive deep into practical, science-based health strategies specifically designed for people over 50. And please watch this entire video because the 4 foods I'm about to reveal work synergistically together. Miss one, and you might not get the full benefit. Plus, we're going to discuss the surprising role that stress hormones play in belly fat, why your thyroid might be sabotaging your metabolism, and the one hormone that could be the key to reversing age-related weight gain. Why hormones break down after 60. Let's start by understanding exactly what's happening in your body after 60, because knowledge is power, and when you understand the why behind your symptoms, you can take targeted action to fix them. Your hormonal system is incredibly complex, with dozens of different hormones working together like a symphony orchestra. When you're younger, this orchestra plays in perfect harmony. But as you age, several key things happen that throw this delicate balance completely off track. First, there's the natural decline that comes with aging. For women, this is most obvious during menopause, when estrogen and progesterone levels plummet dramatically. This isn't a gradual decline, it's often a steep drop that can leave you feeling like you're living in a completely different body. Hot flashes, night sweats, mood swings, and weight gain around the midsection are all direct results of this hormonal shift. But men, don't think you're off the hook here. Starting around age 40, testosterone levels begin declining at a rate of about 1% per year. That might not sound like much, but by the time you're 65, you could be operating with 30 to 40% less testosterone than you had in your prime. This affects everything from muscle mass and bone density to mood, energy levels, and yes, sexual function. However, it's not just the sex hormones that are affected. Your thyroid hormones, which control your metabolism, often become less efficient. This is why many people over 60 find themselves gaining weight even when they're eating less food than they used to. Your insulin sensitivity decreases, making it harder for your body to process carbohydrates effectively. And your cortisol patterns, which should follow a natural daily rhythm, often become disrupted, leading to chronic inflammation and stubborn belly fat. But here's where it gets really important to understand. While some hormonal decline is natural, much of what people experience after 60 is actually accelerated by lifestyle factors. Poor sleep quality disrupts growth hormone production and cortisol regulation. Chronic stress keeps cortisol levels elevated, which suppresses other hormones and promotes fat storage. Processed foods and refined sugars create insulin resistance, which throws off your entire metabolic system. Environmental toxins, which are everywhere in our modern world, act as endocrine disruptors, literally interfering with your body's ability to produce and use hormones effectively. Even things like chronic dehydration, lack of sunlight, and sedentary behavior can significantly impact your hormonal health. The standard American diet, filled with processed foods, refined sugars, and inflammatory oils, creates a perfect storm for hormonal disruption. These foods spike insulin levels, promote inflammation, and lack the essential nutrients your body needs to produce hormones efficiently. What's particularly concerning is that many of the symptoms people attribute to normal aging are actually signs of hormonal dysfunction that could be improved with the right approach. That fatigue you feel every afternoon, that could be related to insulin resistance or adrenal dysfunction. The difficulty losing weight despite eating less. That's often a combination of insulin resistance, thyroid dysfunction, and hormonal imbalances. The brain fog, the mood swings, the loss of motivation, these aren't inevitable consequences of aging. They're signals from your body that something is out of balance and that balance can be restored. Understanding this is crucial because it shifts you from a passive victim of aging to an active participant in your health. You're not doomed to feel tired, overweight, and mentally foggy just because you're over 60. Your body still has an incredible capacity for healing and regeneration, but it needs the right support. This is where nutrition becomes absolutely critical. The foods you eat provide the raw materials your body uses to produce hormones. They can either support hormonal balance or disrupt it further. And as we age, this becomes even more important because our bodies become less efficient at compensating for poor nutrition. Now that we understand why hormones become disrupted after 60, let's talk about the specific symptoms that should serve as red flags. These are your body's way of communicating that something is wrong, and ignoring them can lead to more serious health problems down the road. The first and often most noticeable symptom is unexplained weight gain, particularly around the midsection. If you've noticed that your pants are getting tighter around the waist, even though you haven't changed your eating habits significantly, this is a major sign of hormonal imbalance. This type of weight gain is different from overall weight gain. It's specifically concentrated around the belly area, and it's notoriously difficult to lose through traditional diet and exercise alone. This abdominal weight gain is primarily driven by insulin resistance and elevated cortisol levels. When your cells become resistant to insulin, your body starts storing more energy as fat, particularly in the abdominal area. High cortisol levels, often caused by chronic stress or disrupted sleep patterns, also promote belly fat storage while breaking down muscle tissue. Chronic fatigue is another major red flag that's often dismissed as normal aging. I'm not talking about feeling tired after a busy day. I'm talking about that bone-deep exhaustion that doesn't improve with rest. You might sleep 8 or 9 hours and still wake up feeling like you haven't slept at all. You might find yourself needing naps during the day or feeling completely drained by activities that used to be easy for you. This type of fatigue is often related to thyroid dysfunction, adrenal fatigue, or disrupted sleep hormones like melatonin and growth hormone. Your thyroid controls your metabolic rate, so when it's underactive, everything in your body slows down, including your energy production. Adrenal fatigue occurs when your stress response system becomes overwhelmed and stops functioning properly. Brain fog and memory issues are incredibly common after 60, but they're not inevitable. If you find yourself walking into rooms and forgetting why you went there, struggling to find the right words in conversations, or having difficulty concentrating on tasks that used to be easy, these could be signs of hormonal imbalance. Insulin resistance affects brain function because your brain relies heavily on glucose for energy, but when insulin isn't working properly, your brain cells can't access that energy efficiently. Low thyroid hormones also affect cognitive function, as does chronic inflammation caused by hormonal imbalances. Mood changes are another significant symptom that often gets overlooked. Sudden irritability, anxiety, depression, or mood swings that seem to come out of nowhere are often related to hormonal fluctuations. Estrogen and testosterone both have significant effects on neurotransmitter production, including serotonin and dopamine, which regulate mood. Sleep disturbances are both a cause and a symptom of hormonal imbalance. If you're having trouble falling asleep, staying asleep, or waking up too early, this could indicate problems with cortisol regulation, melatonin production, or other sleep-related hormones. Poor sleep then perpetuates the problem by further disrupting hormone production. Changes in sexual function and libido are common but often embarrassing symptoms that people don't like to discuss. For women, this might include vaginal dryness, decreased interest in sex, or difficulty reaching orgasm. For men, it might include erectile dysfunction, decreased libido, or reduced sexual satisfaction. These symptoms are directly related to declining sex hormones but can often be improved with proper hormonal support. Digestive issues, including bloating, constipation, or changes in appetite, can also be related to hormonal imbalances. Hormones like insulin, cortisol, and thyroid hormones all affect digestive function. Stress hormones can slow down digestion, while insulin resistance can affect gut bacteria balance. Temperature regulation problems, such as feeling cold all the time or having difficulty regulating body temperature, are often signs of thyroid dysfunction. Your thyroid hormones are responsible for maintaining your body's metabolic rate and temperature regulation. Joint pain and stiffness that isn't related to injury or arthritis can sometimes be related to hormonal imbalances. Inflammatory hormones can affect joint health, while declining sex hormones can affect bone density and joint lubrication. What's important to understand is that these symptoms rarely occur in isolation. Hormonal imbalances tend to create cascading effects throughout your body. For example, insulin resistance can lead to weight gain, which increases inflammation, which disrupts sleep, which affects cortisol regulation, which further worsens insulin resistance. It becomes a vicious cycle that can be difficult to break without addressing the root causes. The key is recognizing these symptoms as signs of imbalance rather than inevitable consequences of aging. When you understand that these issues are often interconnected and rooted in hormonal dysfunction, you can take a more systematic approach to addressing them. Let's dive deep into one of the most critical and misunderstood hormones affecting people over 60, insulin. Most people think of insulin only in the context of diabetes, but insulin is actually one of your body's master hormones, affecting everything from weight management to brain function, and understanding how it works is absolutely crucial for your health after 60. Insulin's primary job is to regulate blood sugar levels by helping glucose move from your bloodstream into your cells, where it can be used for energy or stored for later use. When you eat carbohydrates, your blood sugar rises and your pancreas releases insulin to bring those levels back down. In a healthy, young body, this system works beautifully with insulin levels rising and falling in a predictable pattern. However, after decades of eating processed foods, refined sugars, and following the standard American diet, something devastating happens. Your cells start to become resistant to insulin's signal. Imagine insulin as a key that unlocks your cells to let glucose in. With insulin resistance, it's as if the locks on your cells have been changed and the key no longer works as well. When this happens, your pancreas responds by producing more and more insulin, trying to force glucose into resistant cells. This creates chronically elevated insulin levels, and here's where the problems really begin. High insulin levels promote fat storage, particularly around the abdominal area. Even worse, insulin resistance makes it extremely difficult to access stored fat for energy, which is why people with insulin resistance often feel hungry even when they have plenty of stored energy in the form of body fat. The statistics are alarming. Studies show that by age 65, nearly 40% of adults have prediabetes or full-blown type 2 diabetes. But even more concerning is that many people have significant insulin resistance years before they develop obvious blood sugar problems. This means you could be suffering from the effects of insulin resistance, weight gain, fatigue, brain fog, without even knowing that insulin is the culprit. Insulin resistance doesn't just affect your weight and energy levels. It has far-reaching effects throughout your body. It promotes chronic inflammation, which accelerates aging and increases your risk of heart disease, cancer, and Alzheimer's disease. It disrupts other hormones, including sex hormones and growth hormone. It affects your sleep quality and can contribute to depression and anxiety. The brain is particularly vulnerable to insulin resistance. Your brain cells require a constant supply of glucose for energy, but when insulin resistance develops, brain cells can't access glucose effectively. This leads to brain fog, memory problems, and difficulty concentrating. Some researchers even refer to Alzheimer's disease as type 3 diabetes because of the strong connection between insulin resistance and cognitive decline. What causes insulin resistance? The primary culprit is our modern diet, filled with refined carbohydrates, added sugars, and processed foods. Every time you eat these foods, you're triggering a spike in blood sugar and insulin. Originally, your body was designed to handle occasional spikes, like when our ancestors found honey or seasonal fruits. But when you're eating refined carbs and sugars multiple times per day, every day, for decades, your insulin system becomes overwhelmed and starts to malfunction. It's not just obvious sugars that are the problem. Many foods that seem healthy can contribute to insulin resistance. Whole grain bread, breakfast cereals, pasta, rice, and even some fruits can cause significant blood sugar spikes, especially when eaten in large quantities or without adequate protein and fat to slow absorption. The timing of your meals also matters significantly. Constant snacking keeps insulin levels elevated throughout the day, never giving your system a chance to reset. This is why intermittent fasting has become such a powerful tool for improving insulin sensitivity. It gives your body extended periods where insulin levels can drop to baseline. Stress is another major contributor to insulin resistance. When you're chronically stressed, your body produces high levels of cortisol, which directly interferes with insulin function. Cortisol also promotes the storage of fat around the midsection, creating that stubborn belly fat that's so common after 60. Poor sleep quality and insufficient sleep also worsen insulin resistance. When you don't get adequate deep sleep, your body produces less growth hormone and more cortisol, both of which negatively impact insulin sensitivity. Even one night of poor sleep can temporarily worsen insulin function. Lack of physical activity accelerates insulin resistance because muscle tissue is one of the primary places where glucose is stored and used. When muscles aren't being used regularly, they become less sensitive to insulin's signal. This is why strength training and regular physical activity are so crucial for maintaining insulin sensitivity as you age. The good news is that insulin resistance is largely reversible, especially in its early stages. Your body has a remarkable ability to restore insulin sensitivity when given the right conditions. This is where strategic nutrition becomes absolutely critical. Certain foods can actually help improve insulin sensitivity, while others can worsen it dramatically. Understanding insulin resistance also helps explain why traditional calorie counting approaches often fail for people over 60. When insulin levels are chronically elevated, your body is locked in fat storage mode, making it extremely difficult to lose weight regardless of how few calories you eat. This is why addressing insulin resistance should be the foundation of any health improvement plan for people over 60. Let's talk about one of the most misunderstood and overlooked aspects of health after 60, the relationship between stress, cortisol, and that stubborn belly fat that seems impossible to lose. Understanding this connection could be the key to finally achieving the health and body composition you've been struggling to maintain. Cortisol is often called the stress hormone, but that's an oversimplification that doesn't capture its true importance. Cortisol is actually essential for life. It helps regulate blood pressure, reduces inflammation, and provides energy during challenging situations. In healthy individuals, cortisol follows a predictable daily rhythm, rising in the morning to help you wake up and gradually declining throughout the day to prepare you for sleep. The problems begin when this natural rhythm becomes disrupted, usually due to chronic stress, poor sleep, or other lifestyle factors. When cortisol levels remain elevated for extended periods, it creates a cascade of negative effects throughout your body, with some of the most visible effects occurring around your midsection. Here's how chronic cortisol elevation leads to belly fat accumulation. First, cortisol directly stimulates the production of enzymes that promote fat storage, particularly in the abdominal area. This happens because belly fat has a high concentration of cortisol receptors, making it especially responsive to elevated cortisol levels. Unlike fat stored in other areas of your body, belly fat actively produces more cortisol, creating a vicious cycle where belly fat produces more stress hormones, which leads to more belly fat. But the relationship goes much deeper than just fat storage. Elevated cortisol also breaks down muscle tissue to provide amino acids that can be converted to glucose. This muscle breakdown is particularly problematic after 60 because you're already losing muscle mass due to aging. When cortisol accelerates this process, it significantly slows your metabolism, making weight loss even more difficult. Chronic cortisol elevation also disrupts your other hormones in profound ways. It suppresses the production of sex hormones, including testosterone and estrogen, which are crucial for maintaining muscle mass, bone density, and overall vitality. It interferes with thyroid hormone function, further slowing your metabolism. It disrupts insulin sensitivity, making it harder for your body to process carbohydrates effectively. The effects on sleep are particularly devastating. Cortisol should be low in the evening to allow melatonin production and deep sleep. When cortisol remains elevated, it creates a wired but tired feeling where you're exhausted but can't fall asleep, or you fall asleep but wake up frequently during the night. Poor sleep then leads to more cortisol production, creating another vicious cycle. What causes chronic cortisol elevation after 60? The obvious answer is stress, but it's not just psychological stress. Physical stressors like chronic inflammation, blood sugar swings, excessive exercise, or inadequate recovery between workouts can all elevate cortisol. Environmental stressors like toxin exposure, electromagnetic radiation, or even chronic dehydration can trigger cortisol production. However, psychological and emotional stress are often the biggest contributors. The constant worrying about health, finances, family, or world events keeps your stress response system activated. Many people over 60 are dealing with major life transitions, loss of loved ones, health concerns, or financial worries, all of which can chronically elevate cortisol levels. Dietary factors also play a huge role in cortisol regulation. Consuming caffeine, especially later in the day, can keep cortisol levels elevated. Skipping meals or going too long without eating can trigger cortisol release as your body perceives this as a stressful situation. Eating large amounts of refined carbohydrates causes blood sugar spikes and crash, which your body interprets as stress. Alcohol, while it might initially seem relaxing, actually disrupts cortisol regulation significantly. It interferes with sleep quality and can cause blood sugar instability, both of which affect cortisol patterns. Many people over 60 use alcohol as a way to unwind, not realizing that it's actually contributing to their stress hormone problems. The belly fat that results from chronic cortisol elevation is different from other types of fat. It's more metabolically active, producing inflammatory compounds that further disrupt hormone balance. It's also more dangerous to your health, being strongly associated with increased risk of heart disease, diabetes, and other chronic conditions. One of the most frustrating aspects of cortisol-related belly fat is how resistant it is to traditional diet and exercise approaches. You might drastically reduce calories and increase exercise, but if cortisol remains elevated, you'll likely see little improvement in belly fat, and you might even see muscle loss instead. This is why managing stress and supporting healthy cortisol patterns is absolutely crucial for anyone over 60 who wants to improve their body composition and overall health. It's not just about what you eat or how much you exercise. It's about creating an internal environment where your hormones can function optimally. The good news is that cortisol patterns can be improved relatively quickly with the right approach. Stress management techniques like meditation, deep breathing, or gentle yoga can help regulate cortisol. Establishing consistent sleep and wake times helps restore natural cortisol rhythms. And certain foods can actually help support healthy cortisol patterns while reducing the inflammation that contributes to elevated stress hormones. Understanding the cortisol belly fat connection also helps explain why many people feel better and lose weight more easily when they focus on stress reduction rather than just diet and exercise. When you address the root cause of hormonal imbalance, everything else becomes easier. Your thyroid gland, that small butterfly-shaped organ at the base of your neck, has enormous influence over how you feel every single day. Yet thyroid dysfunction is one of the most commonly overlooked causes of the symptoms that many people over 60 simply accept as normal aging. Understanding how your thyroid works and why it often becomes less efficient after 60 could be the key to restoring your energy, metabolism, and overall vitality. Your thyroid produces hormones that essentially control the speed at which every cell in your body operates. Think of it as your body's internal thermostat and energy control center. When thyroid function is optimal, you have steady energy throughout the day, maintain a healthy weight easily, feel mentally sharp, and maintain normal body temperature. When thyroid function declines, everything in your body starts to slow down. The main thyroid hormones are T4 and T3, with T3 being the more active form. Your thyroid produces mostly T4, which then needs to be converted to T3 in your liver, kidneys, and other tissues. This conversion process becomes less efficient as you age and can be further impaired by stress, poor nutrition, inflammation, and certain medications. What makes thyroid dysfunction particularly tricky to diagnose is that many people develop what's called subclinical hypothyroidism. This means your thyroid function is declining and you're experiencing symptoms, but your lab values might still fall within the normal range according to standard medical tests. Unfortunately, the normal ranges used by most labs are quite broad and don't account for optimal function. The symptoms of declining thyroid function often develop so gradually that people don't realize what's happening. You might notice that you're feeling colder than you used to, especially in your hands and feet. You might find that you need extra layers of clothing or blankets when others are comfortable. This happens because thyroid hormones regulate your metabolic rate and body temperature. Unexplained weight gain or difficulty losing weight despite eating less is another major sign of thyroid dysfunction. When your thyroid isn't producing enough hormones, your metabolic rate slows down significantly. You might find that you're gaining weight even when eating the same foods that used to maintain your weight, or you might discover that diet and exercise approaches that worked in the past are no longer effective. Mental and cognitive symptoms are also common with thyroid dysfunction. Brain fog, difficulty concentrating, memory problems, and feeling mentally sluggish can all be related to inadequate thyroid hormone levels. Your brain tissue has a high concentration of thyroid hormone receptors, so when thyroid function declines, cognitive function often suffers. Mood changes, including depression, anxiety, and irritability, are frequently linked to thyroid problems. Thyroid hormones affect neurotransmitter production and function, so when levels are low, mood regulation can become difficult. Many people are prescribed antidepressants when the real problem is undiagnosed thyroid dysfunction. Fatigue is perhaps the most common symptom of thyroid problems, but it's different from normal tiredness. It's a deep, persistent exhaustion that doesn't improve with rest. You might sleep 8 or 9 hours and still wake up feeling tired, or you might feel like you need a nap every afternoon. Hair, skin, and nail changes are also common with thyroid dysfunction. Hair might become thin, dry, or brittle, and you might notice increased hair loss. Skin can become dry and rough, and nails might become brittle or develop ridges. These changes happen because thyroid hormones are essential for cellular regeneration and protein synthesis. Digestive problems, including constipation, bloating, and slow digestion, can also be related to thyroid function. Thyroid hormones affect the speed of digestion and bowel movements, so when levels are low, everything slows down. What causes thyroid function to decline after 60? Age-related changes in the thyroid gland itself play a role, but lifestyle and environmental factors are often more significant. Chronic stress elevates cortisol, which interferes with thyroid hormone production and conversion. Poor sleep quality affects the hormones that regulate thyroid function. Nutritional deficiencies are extremely common and can significantly impact thyroid health. Your thyroid needs adequate iodine to produce thyroid hormones, but it also needs selenium, zinc, iron, and several B vitamins for optimal function. Many people over 60 have multiple nutritional deficiencies that collectively impair thyroid function. Chronic inflammation, often caused by poor diet, stress, or environmental toxins, can interfere with thyroid hormone production and cellular uptake. Autoimmune conditions, which become more common with age, can attack the thyroid gland and reduce its function. Certain medications commonly prescribed to older adults can also affect thyroid function. These include some blood pressure medications, cholesterol-lowering drugs, and antidepressants. If you're taking multiple medications, it's worth discussing with your doctor whether any of them could be affecting your thyroid. Environmental toxins, including heavy metals, pesticides, and endocrine-disrupting chemicals, can interfere with thyroid function. These toxins accumulate in your body over time, which is why their effects often become more apparent as you age. The good news is that thyroid function can often be improved significantly with the right approach. Supporting your thyroid through nutrition is one of the most effective strategies. Your thyroid needs specific nutrients to function optimally, and ensuring adequate intake of these nutrients can make a dramatic difference in how you feel. Certain foods contain natural compounds that support thyroid function, while others can interfere with it. Understanding which foods to emphasize and which to limit can be incredibly powerful for improving thyroid health naturally. Now that we've explored the complex web of hormonal changes that occur after 60, let's dive into the solutions. The first powerful food that can help restore hormonal balance is one that you've probably heard of but might not fully appreciate for its hormone balancing properties: the humble avocado. Avocados are truly a superfood when it comes to hormonal health, particularly for people over 60. They're packed with nutrients that directly support multiple aspects of hormone production and regulation, making them an ideal addition to your daily diet. Let's start with the healthy fats. Avocados are rich in monounsaturated fats, particularly oleic acid, which is the same beneficial fat found in olive oil. These healthy fats are absolutely crucial for hormone production because many of your most important hormones, including testosterone, estrogen, and cortisol, are made from cholesterol and other fat molecules. When you don't consume adequate healthy fats, your body simply can't produce optimal amounts of these essential hormones. The monounsaturated fats in avocados also help improve insulin sensitivity, which is crucial for people over 60 who often struggle with insulin resistance. These fats help slow the absorption of carbohydrates, preventing the blood sugar spikes that contribute to insulin resistance and weight gain. Studies have shown that people who consume more monounsaturated fats tend to have better insulin sensitivity and less abdominal fat. Avocados are also an excellent source of fiber, containing about 10 grams per medium avocado. This fiber is particularly important for hormone balance because it helps regulate blood sugar levels and supports healthy digestion. Stable blood sugar levels are crucial for maintaining steady insulin levels, which in turn supports the balance of other hormones throughout your body. The fiber in avocados also supports the elimination of excess hormones through the digestive system. Your liver processes used hormones and sends them to your intestines for elimination, but if you don't have adequate fiber, these hormones can be reabsorbed back into your bloodstream, contributing to hormonal imbalances. Magnesium is another crucial nutrient found in avocados, with one medium avocado providing about 15% of your daily magnesium needs. Magnesium is involved in over 300 enzymatic processes in your body, including many that are essential for hormone production and regulation. It's particularly important for insulin sensitivity, cortisol regulation, and sleep quality. Many people over 60 are deficient in magnesium due to poor absorption, increased needs due to stress and medications, and inadequate dietary intake. This deficiency can contribute to insulin resistance, elevated cortisol levels, poor sleep, and muscle tension. The magnesium in avocados is easily absorbed and can help address these deficiencies naturally. Potassium is another mineral that's abundant in avocados, with one medium avocado containing more potassium than a banana. Potassium is essential for proper adrenal function and helps regulate cortisol production. It also supports healthy blood pressure and cardiovascular function, which become increasingly important as you age. Avocados also contain vitamin K, which is important for bone health and may help regulate insulin sensitivity. They provide folate, which is crucial for DNA methylation processes that affect hormone gene expression. They contain vitamin E, a powerful antioxidant that protects hormone-producing glands from oxidative damage. One of the most interesting aspects of avocados is their effect on cortisol regulation. Several studies have shown that the nutrients in avocados can help blunt the cortisol response to stress. The combination of healthy fats, magnesium, and potassium seems to have a calming effect on the stress response system, which can help break the cycle of chronic cortisol elevation that contributes to belly fat and other hormonal problems. The oleic acid in avocados has also been shown to have anti-inflammatory properties, which is important because chronic inflammation disrupts hormone balance and accelerates aging. By reducing inflammation, avocados help create a more favorable environment for optimal hormone function. From a practical standpoint, avocados are incredibly versatile and easy to incorporate into your daily diet. You can add half an avocado to your morning eggs for a hormone-balancing breakfast that provides sustained energy without blood sugar spikes. You can mash avocado as a spread for vegetables or use it as a base for healthy salad dressings. The timing of when you eat avocados can also be strategic for hormone balance. Consuming avocado with meals that contain carbohydrates helps slow the absorption of those carbs, preventing blood sugar spikes and supporting better insulin sensitivity. This is particularly beneficial if you're eating fruits or other natural carbohydrates. For people over 60 who are concerned about weight gain, avocados might seem counterintuitive because they're relatively high in calories. However, the combination of healthy fats, fiber, and nutrients in avocados actually supports weight management by improving satiety, stabilizing blood sugar, and supporting the hormonal processes that regulate metabolism. Studies have shown that people who eat avocados regularly tend to have lower body weight, smaller waist circumference, and better overall diet quality compared to those who don't eat avocados. The satiety factor is particularly important. The healthy fats and fiber in avocados help you feel full and satisfied, reducing the likelihood of overeating or snacking on processed foods. When choosing avocados, look for ones that yield slightly to gentle pressure but aren't overly soft. Food number 2 is wild-caught salmon, and this might just be one of the most powerful hormone-balancing foods you can add to your plate. When we talk about wild salmon, we're not just talking about any fish, we're talking about nature's perfect package of omega-3 fatty acids, high-quality protein, and essential nutrients that work together like a symphony for your hormonal health. Let's start with those omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA. These aren't just good fats, they're essential fats that your body cannot produce on its own. Think of them as your body's natural fire extinguishers, constantly working to put out the flames of chronic inflammation that can wreak havoc on your hormone system. Here's what many people don't realize about inflammation. It's not just about joint pain or headaches. Chronic inflammation acts like a hormone hijacker, interfering with your thyroid function, blocking insulin sensitivity, and disrupting the delicate balance of cortisol, your stress hormone. When inflammation runs wild in your body, it creates a cascade of hormonal chaos that can leave you feeling tired, moody, and struggling with weight management. Wild salmon's omega-3 salts work at the cellular level to calm this inflammatory response. They help restore the natural communication pathways between your hormones and your tissues, allowing your body to function more efficiently. Studies have shown that people who consume adequate omega-3 fatty acids have significantly lower levels of inflammatory markers in their blood, including C-reactive protein and interleukin-6, both of which are associated with hormonal disruption. But here's where it gets really interesting for people over 60. The omega-3 salts in salmon don't just fight inflammation, they actively support the production of feel-good neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin. These brain chemicals are crucial for mood regulation, sleep quality, and stress management. When your dopamine and serotonin levels are optimal, your cortisol levels naturally stabilize, creating a positive feedback loop that supports overall hormonal balance. The protein in wild salmon is equally important for hormone health. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at building and maintaining muscle mass, a condition called sarcopenia. This muscle loss directly impacts hormone production, particularly growth hormone and insulin-like growth factor 1, both of which are crucial for maintaining vitality and energy as you age. Wild salmon provides all the essential amino acids your body needs to build and repair muscle tissue, support immune function, and produce hormones. The high-quality protein in salmon is particularly rich in leucine, an amino acid that triggers muscle protein synthesis and helps preserve lean muscle mass. One of the most remarkable aspects of wild salmon is its impact on thyroid function. The omega-3 fatty acids in salmon help reduce the autoimmune inflammation that can attack the thyroid gland, while also improving the conversion of an active thyroid hormone, T4, into the active form T3. This is particularly important for people over 60 who often experience declining thyroid function. Salmon also contains selenium, though not as much as Brazil nuts, which we'll discuss next. However, the selenium in salmon works synergistically with the omega-3 south to support thyroid health and protect against oxidative stress that can damage hormone-producing glands. The vitamin D content in wild salmon is another hormone-supporting benefit that's often overlooked. Vitamin D is actually a hormone itself, and it plays crucial roles in calcium absorption, immune function, and the regulation of other hormones including insulin, parathyroid hormone, and sex hormones. Many people over 60 are deficient in vitamin D, especially those who live in northern climates or spend limited time outdoors. This deficiency can contribute to insulin resistance, bone loss, immune dysfunction, and mood disorders. A single serving of wild salmon provides about 25% of your daily vitamin D needs, making it an excellent dietary source of this crucial hormone. Wild salmon also contains astaxanthin, a powerful antioxidant that gives the fish its pink color. Astaxanthin is particularly beneficial for hormone health because it protects the mitochondria in your cells from oxidative damage. Your mitochondria are the powerhouses of your cells, and they're particularly important in hormone-producing glands like your adrenals, thyroid, and reproductive organs. When choosing salmon, the wild versus farm distinction is crucial for hormone health. Wild salmon contains significantly higher levels of omega-3 fatty acids and lower levels of omega-6 fatty acids compared to farmed salmon. This ratio is important because excessive omega-6 fatty acids can promote inflammation and counteract the benefits of omega-3s. Farmed salmon is also often contaminated with antibiotics, pesticides, and other chemicals that can act as endocrine disruptors, interfering with your body's natural hormone production and regulation. Wild salmon, particularly from Alaska, tends to have the lowest levels of contaminants and the highest nutrient density. From a practical standpoint, aim to include wild salmon in your diet at least twice a week. A typical serving is about 3 to 4 ounces, roughly the size of your palm. Food number 3 might surprise you, and it's one of nature's most concentrated sources of a mineral that's absolutely crucial for hormone health, especially as you age. We're talking about Brazil nuts, and just 2 of these large, creamy nuts per day can provide your body with a therapeutic dose of selenium, a trace mineral that acts like a master key for optimal hormone function. Selenium is often called the hormone helper mineral, and for good reason. It's involved in the production and conversion of several critical hormones, most notably thyroid hormones. Your thyroid gland contains more selenium per gram of tissue than any other organ in your body, which tells you just how important this mineral is for thyroid function. Here's what happens when you consume adequate selenium from Brazil nuts. Your body uses this selenium to produce enzymes called selenoproteins, which are responsible for converting the inactive thyroid hormone T4 into the active form T3. This conversion is absolutely crucial because T3 is the hormone that actually revs up your metabolism, gives you energy, and helps regulate your body temperature, heart rate, and countless other metabolic processes. Many people over 60 struggle with what's called subclinical hypothyroidism, where their thyroid function is declining but hasn't yet reached the level where conventional medicine would diagnose a thyroid disorder. The symptoms are subtle but significant: feeling tired despite adequate sleep, unexplained weight gain, feeling cold when others are comfortable, thinning hair, dry skin, and mental fog. The selenium in Brazil nuts can help address this issue naturally by supporting optimal thyroid hormone conversion. Studies have shown that people with higher selenium levels have better thyroid function and fewer symptoms of hypothyroidism, even when their standard thyroid blood tests appear normal. But selenium's benefits for hormone health extend far beyond the thyroid. This crucial mineral is also involved in the production and regulation of reproductive hormones, including testosterone and estrogen. As we age, our bodies produce less of these hormones naturally, but adequate selenium can help optimize what production remains. Selenium also plays a vital role in supporting your body's natural detoxification processes, which is crucial for hormone balance. Your liver is constantly working to process and eliminate used hormones, environmental toxins, and other substances that can interfere with hormone function. The selenoproteins in your body help protect your liver from oxidative damage and support its detoxification enzymes. This detoxification support is particularly important in our modern world, where we're exposed to numerous endocrine-disrupting chemicals through plastics, personal care products, cleaning supplies, and processed foods. These chemicals can mimic hormones in your body, block hormone receptors, or interfere with hormone production and metabolism. The antioxidant properties of selenium are another crucial aspect of its hormone-supporting benefits. Oxidative stress, caused by an imbalance between free radicals and antioxidants in your body, can damage hormone-producing glands and interfere with hormone signaling pathways. The selenoproteins produced from dietary selenium act as powerful antioxidants, protecting your endocrine glands from this oxidative damage. Your adrenal glands, which produce cortisol and other stress hormones, are particularly susceptible to oxidative damage. Chronic stress and aging increase oxidative stress in these glands, which can lead to adrenal fatigue and dysregulated cortisol production. The selenium in Brazil nuts helps protect your adrenals and supports healthy stress hormone production. The insulin-supporting properties of selenium are another important benefit for people over 60. Selenium helps improve insulin sensitivity and glucose metabolism, which is crucial for maintaining stable blood sugar levels and preventing the insulin resistance that becomes more common with age. Studies have shown that people with higher selenium levels have better glucose control and lower rates of type 2 diabetes. The selenoproteins help protect the insulin-producing cells in your pancreas from oxidative damage and support efficient insulin signaling throughout your body. One of the most remarkable things about Brazil nuts is their selenium concentration. Just medium-sized Brazil nuts provide about 140 micrograms of selenium, which is well above the recommended daily intake of 55 micrograms for adults. This high concentration means that a small daily serving can provide significant therapeutic benefits. However, this high concentration also means you need to be mindful of your intake. Too much selenium can be harmful, leading to selenosis, which can cause hair loss, nail brittleness, digestive issues, and neurological problems. The safe upper limit for selenium is for 100 micrograms per day, so sticking to 2 Brazil nuts per day keeps you well within safe levels while providing optimal benefits. The selenium content in Brazil nuts can vary significantly depending on where they're grown, as the mineral content of the soil directly affects the selenium content of the nuts. Brazil nuts from selenium-rich soils in certain regions of Brazil and Bolivia tend to have the highest concentrations. When shopping for Brazil nuts, look for ones that are fresh and haven't been sitting on shelves for extended periods. The oils in Brazil nuts can become rancid over time, which not only affects their taste, but also reduces their nutritional benefits. Store them in the refrigerator or freezer to maintain freshness. You can eat Brazil nuts on their own as a snack, add them to trail mix, chop them and sprinkle them on salads or yogurt, or blend them into smoothies. Some people prefer to soak them overnight to make them easier to digest and slightly improve their texture. The timing of when you eat Brazil nuts isn't as critical as consistency. Having your 2 nuts at the same time each day, perhaps with breakfast or as an afternoon snack, can help you remember to include them in your routine. It's worth noting that selenium from food sources like Brazil nuts is generally better absorbed and utilized by your body than selenium from supplements. The selenium in Brazil nuts is bound to amino acids, which enhances its bioavailability and reduces the risk of toxicity compared to inorganic selenium supplements. For people who are vegetarian or vegan, Brazil nuts are an excellent way to ensure adequate selenium intake, as this mineral is often lower in plant-based diets. Even for those who eat animal products, Brazil nuts provide a more concentrated and convenient source of selenium than most other foods. The key is making Brazil nuts a regular part of your daily routine. 2 nuts per day, eaten consistently over time, can provide profound benefits for thyroid function, hormone balance, detoxification, and overall health as you age. And finally, we come to food number 4, leafy greens, nature's multivitamin powerhouses that should be the foundation of every hormone-balancing diet, especially for people over 60. When we talk about leafy greens, we're referring to spinach, kale, Swiss chard, arugula, collard greens, bok choy, and dozens of other dark, nutrient-dense vegetables that can literally transform your hormonal health from the ground up. The reason leafy greens are so powerful for hormone balance lies in their incredible nutrient density. These vegetables are packed with vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and phytonutrients that work synergistically to support every aspect of hormone production, regulation, and metabolism. Let's dive deep into why these humble vegetables deserve a starring role on your plate every single day. First and foremost, leafy greens are one of the best dietary sources of magnesium, a mineral that's involved in over 300 enzymatic reactions in your body, many of which are directly related to hormone health. Magnesium is often called the relaxation mineral because of its profound calming effects on your nervous system, but its hormone-supporting benefits go far beyond stress relief. Magnesium plays a crucial role in insulin sensitivity and glucose metabolism. As we age, our cells can become resistant to insulin, leading to elevated blood sugar levels and increased fat storage, particularly around the midsection. The magnesium in leafy greens helps improve insulin sensitivity by supporting the enzymes involved in glucose metabolism and helping insulin work more effectively at the cellular level. Studies have shown that people with higher magnesium intake have significantly lower rates of type 2 diabetes and better glucose control. For people over 60 who are at higher risk for insulin resistance, consuming magnesium-rich leafy greens daily can be a powerful strategy for maintaining healthy blood sugar levels and supporting metabolic health. Magnesium also plays a vital role in sleep quality, which is intimately connected to hormone balance. During deep sleep, your body produces growth hormone, which is crucial for muscle maintenance, bone health, and overall vitality as you age. Magnesium helps regulate the neurotransmitters that promote restful sleep and supports the natural circadian rhythms that govern hormone production. The sleep-supporting effects of magnesium also help regulate cortisol, your primary stress hormone. When you don't get adequate, restorative sleep, your cortisol levels can remain elevated throughout the day, contributing to anxiety, weight gain, immune suppression, and accelerated aging. The magnesium in leafy greens helps promote deeper, more restorative sleep, which naturally helps balance cortisol levels. Magnesium is also directly involved in the production and regulation of sex hormones, including testosterone and estrogen. It supports the enzymes that convert cholesterol into these hormones and helps regulate their activity throughout your body. For men over 60 experiencing declining testosterone levels and women dealing with postmenopausal hormone changes, adequate magnesium intake can help optimize whatever hormone production remains. Folate is another crucial nutrient found abundantly in leafy greens, and it's particularly important for hormone health because of its role in DNA methylation. Methylation is a biochemical process that affects gene expression, including the genes that control hormone production and regulation. Adequate folate intake helps ensure optimal methylation, which can influence how your body produces and responds to hormones. Folate deficiency is surprisingly common, especially among older adults, and it can contribute to elevated homocysteine levels, which are associated with increased inflammation and cardiovascular disease. The folate in leafy greens helps maintain healthy homocysteine levels and supports cardiovascular health, which is crucial for optimal hormone delivery throughout your body. The vitamin C content in leafy greens is another hormone-supporting benefit that's often overlooked. Vitamin C is crucial for adrenal health and cortisol production. Your adrenal glands contain some of the highest concentrations of vitamin C in your body, and they use this vitamin to produce cortisol and other stress hormones. Chronic stress depletes your body's vitamin C stores, which can impair adrenal function and lead to dysregulated cortisol production. The vitamin C in leafy greens helps replenish these stores and supports healthy adrenal function, which is crucial for managing stress and maintaining energy levels as you age. Vitamin C also supports the production of neurotransmitters like serotonin and norepinephrine, which affect mood, sleep, and stress response. Adequate vitamin C intake can help improve mood stability and reduce the risk of depression and anxiety, which often accompany hormonal imbalances. The antioxidant compounds in leafy greens provide another layer of hormone support by protecting your endocrine glands from oxidative damage. These vegetables contain a variety of antioxidants, including beta-carotene, lutein, zeaxanthin, and various flavonoids, which help neutralize free radicals and reduce inflammation throughout your body. Chronic inflammation is one of the biggest disruptors of hormone balance, interfering with hormone production, blocking hormone receptors, and accelerating the aging process. The anti-inflammatory compounds in leafy greens help create a more favorable environment for optimal hormone function and can help slow the age-related decline